And now let's check DotP's voicemail.
Hey guys, this is Brad Swagwagon from Bozeman, Montana. Just want to let you guys know that I've been listening to you a lot. Love the show. You guys are terrible at Dota. Pretty much everything I've heard so far is wrong. All you do is complain about each other, and you guys are fucking pub trash. I love the show. Keep it coming. Bye.
If you want to leave DotP a voicemail, give us a call at 888-410-7150. That's 888-410-7150. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Defense of the Patients, a Dota 2 podcast. I'm your host Cyphus, sitting here with my co-host Roland.
Hello everybody.
And very special guest here because of his Patreon support to Defense of the Patients, Andrew McIntire, better known as Soviet Dancin Bear around the game.
Howdy.
And he should have been here a long time ago.
True.
He is one of the, I think Eric likes to say, .p OG. You have been helping us since the start, and we want to say on air, it has nothing to do with the Patreon. Thank you for your help. Thank you for streaming games.
Well, the first thing I want to say thank you for that we should have had you on forever ago was the Extra Life charity event. You were the one who really brought that to my attention.
Yes.
Yeah, look, you're no problem. Happy to do it.
So, how much did you end up raising for the Extra Life?
I was going to ask.
just under $400.
Wow. That's
Still,
incredible.
and how long were you? How long was the charity open?
It's actually open year round. I have a team started for us this year, but I only played for 20 hours out of 24 because I'm human. And so, but yeah, I made a good bit of money, partially from the guild, from the running crew we have, and folks at work, stuff like that. It was pretty cool to do.
Huh. Yeah, it was really cool. So it was $400 in 20 hours then.
Yes.
So you're making $20 an hour for this hospital.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, and it's an awesome cause too. For those who don't know, it provides gaming equipment for kids with I don't want to say the wrong hospital.
It's for, well, I played specifically for one hospital, but it's for any Children's Miracle Network hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is a really badass cause. I mean, what you can't argue with giving gaming materials to sick kids.
No,
it's awesome.
No.
There's one kid that I read about that he kind of had his immune system shut down for some kind of treatment and was in there for 6 months. And why? What would you do with yourself if you had 6 months and nothing to do?
Become Sumail. the second you leave, just play nonstop Dota. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They all need computers.
Give Roland's life purpose
for Dota.
So, well, you're here today though for the State of Affairs segment that we do, where we all run through and talk about our MMR. But you made a rush to calibrate, right?
I ground it out, like turning in my homework on the bus.
What? So what is it?
1306.
1306. Okay.
Yes.
And did you round them both out, or did you just round one out?
Just party. I try to avoid solo queue. That's
Okay.
why I'm in a guild, because I don't have to play in solo queue.
So you don't have to play alone. I like
I'm
that
the same
attitude.
way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't played a solo match in a long winter's while.
I think I played my first solo match in about a month, less than a week ago. That was the first time in a while.
Sometimes early in the mornings, nobody's on, and I'll play a solo match. But anyway, Soviet, what heroes did you play to calibrate?
Well, I have my Dota buff profile pulled up here. Let's see, last 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A little bit of Vengeful Spirits, 2 games with Weaver, 2 games with Viper, Crystal Maiden, and a Shadow Shaman.
Okay, so a lot of diversity, a lot of variety. And 1303, see, my solo is well below 1300.
Mine still is too. I think when I initially calibrated on party, I probably calibrated right around there too.
Mm-hmm. My party I calibrated at like 1787, but I won 9 of 10 games with Wazoo and 3 Flow, a person that we used to play with, and won all 10 of them. And so I was like 1787 or something like that. And I am I'm 1850 now. I guess we're moving into mine, but we still want to talk about you, Soviet.
Yeah. So do you feel now that you've got it calibrated? Do you feel like a vigor to try to raise it?
No. Not really. I got it for the pot. It's the second time I've been on the show, either Guild Chat or .p Prime here, and I feel like I can't go up to do it again. So I pressed myself to try it, and I am not surprised by the results.
Did you lose a lot of the games?
I think I broke even, if I recall
5 and
correctly.
5?
I started a long time ago, got like 3 games in, and then just powered through 7 in the last week or so.
Okay. Did it feel good to be calibrated? Were you surprised? Were you sad that it was 1300? How did you feel about 1300?
No, it was about where I expected, frankly.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like I am pretty much calibrated. Like, my solo's pretty good indication.
I don't have any complaints about the MMR system. Really.
No, I don't. I feel like it's honest.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
It is.
Most often, but...
I'm anywhere between 900 plus or minus where I'm at any given time. Maybe within 1300 of where I am. I'm a 2K player, but mostly like a 3500 level. The complaints are the funniest.
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
really are.
No, you're calibrated at what you are.
You are what you are.
It's based on a Z-score, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe plus or minus 100 or 200 in either direction, but you're about where you're at.
And maybe you're really good with one hero, and one hero, you're 500 points above that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe if you mean it that way, like, I'm 3K, but my Shadow Fiend is 3.5K. I think that's a fair statement.
Sure. Well, you're definitely going to be more skilled with a particular hero than you are with others.
I'm a 3K support and a 4K carry.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to look at it is, your positioning on the team.
I've just heard so much of that where it's like, I'm anywhere between. It's like, don't worry, nobody's judging you.
Yeah,
The only reason we're very transparent about our MMR is because it's a quantification. It allows you to put a number to my skill level.
Yeah, well, and I think it works for the podcast too, just because it provides some progress or often, regression.
And especially to our guests like Soviet. I mean, it's good to know that you're a casual player and you don't have that many games under your belt. I think I have like 4 times as many games as you.
Yeah, how long have you been playing?
I got in the beta after TI2, but I tend to float between games. Mm-hmm. So this is the one that gets kind of stuck, and I kept getting pulled back in.
Well, it's a Dota 2 podcast, but what else do you play?
I was playing some Hearthstone while we were getting geared up here. Just kind of Heroes of the Storm beta, and more Destiny that I cared to admit.
Okay, so you got Heroes of the Storm beta. What do you think?
I like it.
Okay, I watched YouTube videos, and I'm an avid Blizzard. I was a Blizzard fan. Blizzard lost me to Valve, is what I honestly feel like. But I've been a Blizzard fan since 96, maybe even earlier. And I was young at 96, and I was still a Blizzard fan. Anyway, saw Heroes of the Storm beta, or alpha, on YouTube. I watched videos of them playing, and I like Diablo. Are the mounts still horses if you need to get somewhere? Like, everybody just rides like a plain horse?
You can. There's also like lizards and a unicorn that poops rainbows. See, it's a little bit everything.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. What made me the maddest about it isn't that it's another MOBA or a shorter MOBA, was that they mixed all these heroes like Kerrigan and Diablo on the same playing. I don't like that. Those are two different worlds,
universes for you.
Two different universes, yeah. Like, we had our space universe, StarCraft. We had like our close to modern age pillage, village type game with Warcraft, and then we had Diablo going to hell, and then they mix those.
Well, it's all medieval fantasy in the end to Blizzard, I think.
Yeah.
And of course you would mix those for a MOBA.
And
it'll bring fans of both genre or both series into it.
It's basically Super Smash Brothers for Blizzard.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a great way to describe it.
Super Smash Brothers. And what I also didn't like is there was a hero named Stitches that was just Pudge. I don't know who came up with Pudge first. I'm sure there are people that play League of Legends that are like, yeah, that's our hero that Dota stole, that then was stolen from us by Heroes of the Storm. But like, it has a hook. It doesn't. Have you played Stitches?
Not yet.
But you've seen Stitches.
Oh yeah.
Just like Pudge. Am I wrong?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You can put you can put a guy in his belly. That's about the only difference. I think there's a rot kind of thing, but not exactly.
Well, I guess putting a dude in your belly that's pretty fucked up.
I mean, it's already like almost open. It's like an open wound. It wouldn't be that bad. You just have to, open it up and put a dude in there. What does it like consume them?
Sort of. You can kind of carry him. It's
it's a life stealer.
Sort of. It's kind of like if you combined Pudge's kit with who am I thinking of? I can't think, like, not Life Stealer, but Bat Rider. Like, you could pick up a hero and then carry him back behind your gate or something, and then, he's dead.
Oh, so you can pick up an enemy, put him in your belly, and then bring him back.
I don't know if you can do it with like your team.
With allies. So, you're enjoying Heroes of the Storm. How many games have you played in Heroes of the Storm?
Maybe 10, 20.
I hear they're quicker games, right?
Yes.
Like what, 10, 20, 15?
Like 20, 25.
20, 25 minutes. Do you like that aspect of them being shorter?
I kind of do. Like, I have kids.
Okay.
And including a 9-month-old daughter who I like to game when she naps, but that can be anytime. Like, so it's nice to have, like, okay, 10, 15 minutes is okay. Like, I can probably get away with that, or even 20, 25. But if you're bordering up against an hour, like the last 2 games I played were button up against an hour, and I don't know if I would want to, like, have to be tied up for that long. And I like it, and it's, when she goes to bed, it's a different story, but I do kind of like the pick up and play nature of it.
Yeah, I like the I like that about a game, and I played StarCraft 2, and that's about how the average length of a game. A really exceptionally long, crazy, epic game was like 40 minutes to an hour.
I remember I watched a good bit of that back when it was out.
Yeah.
Actually, Zerg was one of my son's first, like, 30 words.
Zerg?
Yeah.
I hated the Zerg until I played the Zerg. Anyway, so I've had issues as well with Dota length. I will say this much.
Oh, sure.
It makes it difficult to, like, kind of plan your day sometimes, where it's especially like when, like, I don't know, I have school at a certain time, like, there is a threshold where I cannot even begin to look for a game, and if I haven't found a game by that point, it's then risking it, and I just have to abandon. Well, and I don't want to abandon, of course.
The sad thing about Dota is, if you've got an hour to kill, you might be able to do that, but there are so many outcomes. Potentially, you could eat up your entire hour and then some, which happens more often, I think, at this skill level than, probably should. But, I mean, how many games have we had that have gone 70, 75 minutes,
Oh, plenty.
A ton. But and on the flip side, you could end up just killing 20 minutes. How many? Then on the flip side, how many games have we had that have gone 25 minutes and been over in a heartbeat?
It's like a bell curve. The outliers are the 25 minutes and the 75-minute games.
Yeah, I'd say easily though 25% of my games end in under 30 minutes, and 25% go an hour or more.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's too long. I'll tell you this much.
Well, it's just too much variability.
I wouldn't ever change Dota. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think New Bloom, the change, I'm glad it's temporary, is all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, that you can just lift that right back up. Okay. Sorry that it drooped down. Yeah. So we just got new equipment, and I'm waiting for shock mounts, for desk-clipped shock mounts, because we just got new microphones, and we don't actually have stands that hold them, so they're kind of like rigged in such a way to be held at the moment, and Cyphus just kind of fell down. But it's all good. You didn't hear it.
Yeah, it works.
Didn't make a sound. Like I said, I don't want Dota to be changed. I think it's a beautiful game. But I do see people wanting to play other games for that reason.
Time is a huge factor.
It's like, hey, do you want to go get dinner? And it's like, yeah, after this game. And then it's like, I get in trouble all the time with my fiance where it's like, yeah, I just played a game. And she's like, it's been like 3 hours. And of course she's exaggerating a little bit. And it's only been like an hour, maybe longer. But that's still a long time.
All too often. I've seen you get in trouble twice now for being asked, can we go get some dinner? And you say, yeah, right after this game. And her say, well, how close are you to being done? And you're like, oh, we took the tier 2s. It'll be over in 20 minutes.
No, I give her a range. I say either 10 minutes or 45 minutes for like those games that you come back from.
Yeah.
It's like it's either going to be over in 10 minutes or we come back and it'll be 45 minutes long.
My last calibration match was similar. Like, we were all set to leave for my mother-in-law's house to go get some dinner, and she's like, hey, we're leaving in an hour. And I'm like, we should be able to get through an hour. And even said, like, why don't we pick a pushed lineup? Like, let's do this right. No, hour and 7, and I missed lasagna.
Oh, you didn't go. You stayed for the game.
I didn't. I got a doggy bag, but I got a whole bunch of Where's Andrew stories. Like, hey, I tried.
Oh, wow. See, we're all getting in trouble out there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Valve.
Whether it's from your parents or from your significant others. This game's too long, and Don't shorten it.
Valve, you owe us some relationship points, though.
Yeah, you need to call my significant other twice for me.
Is that so much to ask? I just want Gabe Newell to call my girlfriend and personally apologize for missing dinner. That's all. Yeah,
or just a variety of things that I say I'll do, and then it's like, oh yeah, babe, I was gonna do that right after that game, and that's why it's been hard juggling school, trying to start a business, a Cyphus, a podcast, and more. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's been a challenge that's been fun to undertake.
Fun. So what is your MMR, Roland? Let's keep this train moving.
1875, I think exactly, is what my party MMR is, and that's been a long, treacherous climb that I've slipped several times back into the medieval stages.
I believe this is the highest MMR that we've reported yet for both of us today.
For both of us, maybe. Yeah. It's an and statement, but not an or statement, my friend, because I've reported 1975 before.
I don't think you have.
Oh, absolutely. There was we recorded when I was on the precipice of 2000.
Oh, that's right.
I was 1970. And then
you took a big dip.
And then I dipped back down to the 1300s.
Yeah,
it's volatile playing in ranked. To give you any advice in ranked, it sucks, man. Just don't do it.
Don't even start.
You're calibrated now. Just leave it alone. It's not worth your time. It's just a bunch of letdowns is all it is. No.
So Roland officially on the Dota 2 podcast advising people not to play Dota 2.
No.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good for our listenership. True. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Starting Here's the Storm podcast now.
Yeah. That game looks sweet. Diablo riding like a pony. I love that. He was supposed to be scary, man. When I played Diablo 1 as a kid and then Diablo 2, there were moments where I was scared. The butcher comes out and he's like, "Rah!" and you just have to take him down, dude. Or in Dariel, a ghost queen.
Yeah,
scary and dark, and now it's in this light playing field.
Blizzard does stuff like that though, unicorns. Where they make it cartoony. Well, I mean, you remember your biggest complaint with
Diablo 3
World of Warcraft
sucked because of that reason, and World of Warcraft Knights of Pandaria. No, nothing against that, but it's pandas, man. It's panda samurais.
I bet the first panda would be sad to hear you say that a little bit.
Maybe. But not that pandas are bad, just that it started out, World of Warcraft started out so cool where it was these two factions, right? Good and evil, basically, fighting one another. And then they add in this neutral where it's we are pandas that live on an island far away and we do not subscribe to these policies. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lame.
Well, my MMR, my party.
Okay.
Sitting at 1859 because I'm 16 behind you, or am I 26 behind you? Maybe I'm 1849. But it feels good. I feel the 2K coming my way.
Yeah,
I feel it happening.
2K is here. It's just gonna be Y2K, except I'm not gonna go flood Sam's Club. You know what I mean? Well, maybe for party goods because I want to throw a party and just invite everybody I know. And they're like, "What is this for?" My aunt.
Your 2000 MMR party.
It's yeah, I hit 2000.
That'll be the equivalent of Roland's quinceañera when you hit 2K.
Oh man.
So Soviet, what else you got going on, buddy?
Well, for the guild and everything, I do the DotP TV. I'll be streaming when I can on that, and if anybody else is interested in doing so, you let me know on the boards or send me a note or something. I'd like to get more people going eventually. If we get that going 24/7, that'd be pretty sweet. But another thing I have going is I mentioned the Extra Life Defense of the Patients team. I'll send a link to you if you're interested. Anybody who would like to participate, feel free. It's free. You can support your local children's hospital. It's a lot of fun, and you can kind of do it throughout the year. It's open now, and it will close on the end of the year, and you can re-up next year. So
send us a link again, and we will put that in the show notes for sure, because that's a great cause. And if you guys want to support a charity, or if you're in the business of supporting charities, this is definitely a great one. And yeah, feel free to join along. And if you want to hit up Soviet on Twitter, he's at Andrew McIntire, McIntire. And you can find out everything he's doing with the Twitch stream with .p and of course the Extra Life stuff.
And you're extremely active with Twitter, so I think it's probably a pretty good means of reaching you.
Yep, that or the boards, or when I'm around. I'm not hard to get a hold of.
Mumble, I see in Mumble, casting games.
Yeah, for those who don't know, if you're in the guild, hit us up. Hit up any guild mate, and they can tell you how to access the Mumble, and you can chat with all these fine folks, and sometimes us whenever we're in there.
Yeah, which has been, I know, scarcer than people would like. I've gotten like a lot of people are like, "Where you at, man?" And it's like I'm doing my best. Just know that, like I'm doing.
We're
my
hopping
best,
in the Mumble
guys.
as frequently as we can. School, work, podcast, recording times.
School's been intense, rants, and just getting everything going. And we basically redid the entire studio, like, I don't know, over the last couple weeks.
Equipment.
Carpet, we got new equipment. Just because we're excited about doing it. And as hobbyists, we enjoy to have cool hobbyist things.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
That about sums that up.
Good job, buddy.
I don't know. People like, flying airplanes. Like the toy airplanes.
Yes,
I'm sure
do.
they invest a lot of money into flying those. Like, I'm looking for justifications, dude.
Sure, hey, you justify it all you want. That's
I'm looking
fine.
for justifications of why we need this. I don't know.
Because it's fun.
It's fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it glows in a lot of different places now. The old one only glowed like in 2 different places. This one is just like a board, dude. It's sweet. So, anyway.
Well, Soviet, we thank you for coming on.
Sorry, I talked about my soundboard. It's pretty cool.
So boring, though.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Boring for everybody.
He's just like, nice.
Yeah, that's the most boring thing I've ever heard.
Thank you for turning in your homework. We appreciate it. We give you an A+ on calibrating.
That's right. And if you ever want to raise it, just hit us up. Well,
Oh, we got this perfect strat. It's I go Treant.
Cyphus
Cyphus goes Lion, and then we hopefully get somebody to carry us to victory, bro.
That's right.
And it works every time when somebody carries us to victory.
Yeah.
So
every time somebody good is carrying us. Oh man, it's good stuff.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on our show. It's long overdue. Just want you to know that we really appreciate everything that you do and the DotP community does as well. You've been a founding father in defense of the patients, and we appreciate
especially
you.
the guild. It's been awesome to have guys like you helping us keep everything together.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Hey, guys, this is Cyphus from Defense of the Patients. We wanted to let you know that we really appreciate all that you've done for us and for listening to the show. This community has been a really great thing, and we appreciate everything you guys do. If you want to support the show and the DotP Guild and upcoming tournaments, visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Defense of the Patients. You can donate and get a ton of cool prizes, things like t-shirts, stickers, and even jerseys. So if you want to support the show and the guild, visit us at patreon.com/Defense of the Patients to support us now. And remember, tell a friend. And we're back. Today, we want to talk about Trilanes again.
Yeah, we want to talk about Trilanes inside of the Trilane, as in what's happening when we're playing a Trilane.
Let's preface all this.
Sure.
Because it has begun with you and I doing a little bit more with Wazoo from a Trilane perspective. Mm-hmm. We've been playing with him a little bit more frequently. We took a break from playing with him while you and I kind of, I don't know,
rose up from the 1400s.
Yeah, we needed to take a step back and play. It was good to play with him, but too frequently what was happening is you and I were playing positions that were not in a tri-lane with him, and we were getting devastated. You would play an offlaner, or I would play an offlaner. One of us typically ran support with him, but because of our skill level, we weren't the right kind of support for him.
We played drastically different with Wazoo before, like, the New Age or the New Testament of playing with Wazoo. As in, like, Cyphus would pretty much support, but he would play his supports, and I would play, whether it was a carry or an off lane or a jungler, and we'd hope Wazoo would get farmed, and if he didn't, we'd probably lose.
Yeah.
And now what we're doing is
guaranteeing he gets farmed is how it feels.
Yeah, lately. Guaranteeing it. The New Testament of farming is what we have done most often. We did our last 2 games. Cyphus played Lion and I played Tree and Protector.
Actually, the game before that, I ended up having to go mid as Sniper.
Oh, that's right. And I just supported his anti-mage.
We should touch on that game a little.
We should. But
faceless.
Or his faceless, yeah.
So but the most recent game
was his anti-mage.
The typical lineup has been you on Treant, me on Lion, and Wazoo on the carry that makes the most sense. You in the jungle, stacking, pulling. I mean, like
stacking and double pulling. So every minute I'm stacking something. And I try to get 3 in every single one before he gets his Battle Fury. And then the second he gets his Battle Fury, it's about an influx of a Yasha. He can about jungle out a Yasha when he's done. So he can buy his Battle Fury and immediately jungle out the Yasha and be that much closer to his Manta.
And then
as anti-mage.
I've been using stuns and my ability to mana regen in lane to just harass the fuck out of the opposing team and keep him alive.
Coolest thing in that game was getting an illusion room as Treant, because I'm all a Radiant side. I was closest. I stacked 2 of 3 successfully at the same minute.
Wow.
I stacked 2 camps, and I tried to do 3, and I didn't get the 3rd. But I thought I did. I thought I stacked 3 camps in 1 minute by myself.
That's pretty impressive.
It was hard to do. See that. It took I had to tab between them. But what I did was so the medium camps with the ogres, with the blue ogre and then the 2 red ones, you pull that at like 55. And then everything else you could pull at 55 on a hard camp. So I pulled the hard camp at 53 with my main dude and just was like, hey, you walk down here to the lane. Just straight down, straight south. Then the other guy I just had walk straight up north my illusion from the camp, the medium camp, Radiant side that's just down the stairs. And then the other one was in the hard camp, the other hard camp for Radiant jungle, which is down lower near the tier 2 mid. And I didn't get to that one till like 56 with my illusion. And it didn't get it. But I did do 2 stacks in 1 minute, and then he got that Battle Fury at like 14 minutes, which is a pretty good time. And then all of a sudden he had Manta immediately. And he was good. What he would do is he'd blink on him, get around him, then pop Manta, and it created this like shield of anti-mages that are just constantly hitting and draining mana, and then just mana break, bam.
Yeah.
Like,
we started that game. Yeah, we started that game with you saying that because you hadn't. I guess you haven't played with him.
I've never seen him like excel as anti-mage Wazoo, and I was just like
the crazy run that he and I went on while you were in Disneyland doing whatever the fuck you were doing there. Was me doing a lot of various like disable supports. In lane with him with that anti.
Sure.
And I mean, I've seen him.
Well, the heal is nice
fire
because you don't need to harass them when you're healing, right? Because my heal kind of nullifies their harass to a certain degree. So I'm in the jungle. My double pull is enough to get me to like level 3 healing, doing it enough times.
And you sap a little XP from the lane here and there.
I do, and I'll come into lane when like, only for a split second, or if like I see that like something's about to happen. If they need a leech seed, pop a leech seed. You know what I mean? But most of the time, like the first 15 minutes of the game, I'm probably in the jungle most of the time. And the hardest part for me in my jungling endeavors, trying to get better as a jungler, or understanding the jungle, is when I'm pulling the 30-second wave, and I'm double pulling the 30-second wave. Oh, yeah. Well, by the time the 30-second wave gets to the point where you pull, it's more like 45 seconds. And so I'm trying to make it so another small camp spawns still, and I think it's impossible because then I don't have a small camp for the minute for the next creep wave, so I can't pull again on the next creep wave because that creep wave just blocked my small camp from respawning. So what I've been trying to do is like lure them to fight other places or hurry and get the double stack off, as in with Treant I hit really hard. So auto attack those creeps down, don't care if I get a last hit, break a tango, and then try and pull those creeps far enough into the medium camp and away from the small camp so the small camp can respawn. Yet to do it. I want to do it. I get really close.
I'd like to know if others...
So you can pull again, and then you really have made a huge difference in lane equilibrium if you affect 2 waves. Because the other camp you're pulling it to is probably going to live pretty substantially. Like, most of it's going to live, especially if you're, like, denying creeps that are still, like, look like to have, like, a third of health. You're denying those, you're hitting those. And then you just pull another one through, is how I imagine, and double pull that one. And then you've got creep equilibrium between your tier 2 and tier 1, which is ideal, and they're getting nothing, basically. No experience, no farm. They're having to come into your jungle, which is dangerous for them. I don't know if it's possible.
I don't know. With a double pull, you can usually get that equilibrium back there, but I think Wazoo would tell you that he doesn't want it back there.
A double pull is what I'm trying to do.
But I don't think
a sequential double pull.
I think he would tell you that he wouldn't want it back there because it's easier for him to last hit under tower.
Yeah, it's more unexpected. I'd say it's generally harder to last hit under tower with creeps attacking. It's easy to last hit under tower if you just know the 5+1 and the.
You should talk to him.
He finds it easy
just from leaning with him.
I don't know. I think it's easier to just not kill creeps under tower because you can just sit there and you're like, okay, well, he's at about a quarter health. I'll wait like 2 seconds, then I'll hit him. You know what I mean? And I usually get it. But under the tower, it's like, okay, it's the 5th tower hit's about to come in, but also all this creep damage has come in. So do I hit him on the 4th tower hit or on the 5th tower hit? And sometimes I think it's impossible to get a last hit. Sometimes I think it's out of range before that, but in range of the tower to kill it, but out of your range to kill it before it hits. So I honestly think last hitting outside of tower is probably the ideal place to last hit. And that's why I think a double pull would put it right in between your tier 2 and tier 1. Which I mean, that's where I love to farm as Axe. Why wouldn't Anti-Mage love to farm there as well? But
I think it's a little different with Axe, though.
Well, on Axe, it's a lot different because you're in the opponent's safe lane. This is you just farming. This is all theory. I don't even know if it's possible because you got to figure those creeps are getting in there by like 53. So it's like I have to kill everything and then have those creeps out of there in like 8 seconds. I don't even know. I doubt it's even possible to get out of the spawn box, everything out of the spawn box in the allotted amount of time, especially with range creep. Like, what do you do with that range creep? I think Helma Dominator, you could do it. If you had Helma Dominator and then took the range creep, control of it, and then ran that away.
See, this is why you need to get hold of Dota Labs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Test out the theory.
I've just spent, as you know, my top 3 heroes are Sand King, spend a lot of time in the jungle with Sand King. Nature's Prophet, spend all of my time in the jungle. And Treant Protector, who is a tree.
Of late. And of late, you spend all your time in the jungle stacking.
And I'm doing it for a different reason, and I have plenty of mana. Like, I'm watching the entire map in the jungle, gaining experience from my pulls. And from the little bit of lane experience, or assist experience that I get. Because when I come into lane, usually it's like, okay, we're setting something up, or something's about to go down. And so, and hopefully in our favor.
Yeah.
And so,
it
usually works out.
But I guess on the topic of tri-laning, do you feel like because there was a time when I didn't want to tri-lane at all.
I thought it was stupid. I thought it was dumb. For the longest time, before thinking about it, like, you were accelerating 2 heroes by doing this. What you're doing is you're giving yourself 2 LeBron James, and then like 3 like run-of-the-mills. You know what I mean?
Explain what you mean by that.
If you're doing an offensive tri-lane, if you're doing a defensive tri-lane, then you're still getting, which
I think you're accelerating.
Defensive. You're accelerating the
3.
Yeah, you're accelerating
3 heroes,
which is ideal, right? We have 2 supports and 3 and 2.
But
carries,
odds are with your offlane, you're really only accelerating their EXP, not necessarily their actual farm.
Depending, like, I feel like every time, and I know this is, like, complete hogwash and not provable, but like every time I go Tidehunter offlane, it feels like I'm getting a bunch of last hits just because of Anchor Smash.
And Kraken Shell.
Which makes him so great.
Sure.
Or Bristleback offlane. Like,
that's obviously very dependent on the hero in the offlane. And which is why, I feel
which is why some offlane heroes are offlane heroes.
Right. And that's what I was about to say, is I feel like now that we've gotten a little bit better at tri-laning, and because before it was, if a tri-lane was going on or being discussed, I felt like we were at a heavy disadvantage.
Well, and
because I don't feel like most players at our skill level, especially in the low 1000s, I don't think they have any concept of what they should be doing in a tri-lane.
And you are at a disadvantage if everybody's in lane at the same time, because you're stealing the best place to get experience. It's been proven. You can get experience much faster from laning than you can from jungling. That's why I kind of take this like utility support jungle position, where I'm basically just absorbing experience from the small camp, and when I double pull, I'll try and kill whatever I can in the medium to hard camp in Radiant. And that's where I get the primary source of my experience, whereas you guys are almost like normal laning in a tri-lane, where it's still kind of like a 2-1-2, but it's a 1-1-3, but it's like that 1 is kind of divided out because I'm only sapping a little bit of experience.
Well, and your XP typically ends up coming from the kills that you get to be present for whenever we come online.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was the first game that we played. Well, this was not a tri-lane. I was laning with Wazoo as a Faceless Void. I remember looking. This is a game that we all hope was lost. We had lost the game. It was over. It was totally over. I was level 12 when the opposite Bristleback was level 23. And so it was like 3 hits and he'd kill me. And I wasn't doing super great. I was supporting really, really hard, as in, like, that was my sole fucking purpose. Like, was to heal people. So long as I'd heal level 4 and 1 point in overgrowth, I was fine.
150 gold every 2 minutes.
and enough to buy the wards and enough to sneak through the jungle invisibly and place the wards. I was not worried about experience that game. I was worried about keeping towers alive, and it was impossible almost at their lineup. And I knew if we could just hold out till like 45 minutes until Faceless Void came online, and I dedicated like 90% of like my attention was on Faceless Void.
Well, that was
unless you guys made a call or something.
Yeah,
I wasn't healing anybody else.
That was a weird game just because we got paired with a 2-stack, and typically our goal is just to communicate, hey. You know that solo off lane and that solo mid position that everybody argues about? We're willing to just give it to you.
Yeah, so please take them.
Take them, and we will go do a tri-lane. And
we got people that did it. They were like, we're practicing for a tournament.
Except that he picked Enigma right off the bat.
Oh, yeah, and he wanted to
go
Enigma
into the
mid.
jungle.
No, he wanted Enigma mid.
He wanted Enigma jungle.
Oh, he said trade me for a mid.
Yeah, and I said, I don't know that you want me playing Enigma for the very first time right now. I still think it was a better decision.
You'd have a fun time. You probably wouldn't. You would be surprised at how much gold that guy's able to rake in. He is the greediest Dota 2 hero of all heroes. Greedier than Alchemist in many ways, dude. I swear to God, you can get like a 4-minute minus with him, like easy.
I still think it was better that I went mid.
Probably. Yeah, your sniper was impeccable. You played a mid sniper.
I was able to shut down. I was opposed by a Razor mid, and I was able to keep him. I don't know, not down. It was an even matchup between the two of us, even though mid lane ended up being the one that got raxed on our side, of course. But everything was pushed in on our side up to the.
And then we eventually raxed their mid, and it was good, and Equilibrium kind of leveled out, and we're like, oh, thank God, we don't have to worry about this middle lane.
I couldn't get a kill on that Razor. That was the downside. I came up to gank
hard.
top lane
too fast
with the two of you and got a double kill that put me over the edge on him.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Great positioning on that one.
I couldn't turn the gold, and I went Mask first, and I wonder if I wouldn't have been better off going Desolator, where they had Razor and Bristleback on their team, and they were heavily
like 2,800 gold to like 4,100.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to turn. Like, I don't think Mask of Madness is a bad item on Sniper. I've seen people call other people noobs for getting Mask of Madness on Sniper. It's so awesome late game.
Well, it's a nice boost of attack speed for critical moments, without having to invest heavily in like the Hyperstone.
He's not a sniper anymore when he has Mjolnir and Mask of Madness.
Yeah.
He is, like a soldier with perfect accuracy, right?
You're a walking Tommy gun.
Yeah, he's a walking Tommy gun with like 99% accuracy, unless they're uphill, of course. And seeing him with a Desolator laying into a tower with Deso, Mjolnir, Mask of Madness, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I got to experience that.
Yeah,
game. Thankfully,
that is like ridiculous. So I love it's not ever suggested in any of the builds when I'm playing Sniper and Mask of Madness, but I still will purchase it sometimes.
The build, so I always keep a standard build up there too, just as a guideline, and to keep a set of items.
And to make sure I'm not doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And to keep myself in check.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I need to be doing, but I'm not thinking perfectly sometimes on the battlefield. Yeah. Sometimes I'm fogged by my, adrenaline.
At this level, there are still situations where I don't feel very confident in my ability to necessarily choose the right item set, just based on I'm
item
better,
set is the biggest,
but versus an opposing team's lineup.
There's some heroes that I'm confused, and usually when I'm confused as to what to buy, the answer is BKB, and I'm like, what should I buy? This hero just seems so perfect as it is, Troll Warlord. And it's like, I'm just, bashing people. I'm getting that bash chance. I have this data list. I'm just going to save this gold. I don't even need to spend it. I'm a bad BKB user, and it's an issue. Every guide on those heroes when I play those heroes, even Shadow Fiend, to be able to pop BKB and have a free Requiem wherever you want it, not getting stunned out of your Requiem. We played a game against Magnus where I was Shadow Fiend, and I couldn't get a Requiem off. He just he would reverse polarity me every single time and just like, bloop, nope. It wouldn't take my cooldown away, so I could still wreck him after that. But like, then I'd try again, and I'd be like, let out all my souls, and then like Ogre Magi would be like, and stun me, and then I'd die, and it was the most annoying thing in the world. So I know that that's like probably the right thing to buy in certain cases. And in the game that we talked about on the last podcast, I re-listened to that episode. BKB was what I needed. Could you imagine
for your Shadow Fiend
for the Rampage? If I had 36 souls, a BKB, and that Shadow Blade, and went into that pit, popped the BKB, and then Requiemed, then maybe that was possible.
I want to kill your instinct to go 1v5. That's all. That's all, bro.
It's a bad instinct.
That's all I want to kill.
I can recognize that. I can recognize that it's a bad instinct.
Every time you say something like, watch this, I just want to like bang my head against the desk as hard as possible.
I used to say that a lot more often with Nature's Prophet Dagon. And for all of you who haven't like listened to earlier episodes, which is fine, you don't have to. When we first started this podcast, a lot of it was centered around like my Nature's Prophet play because it was like bothered a lot of people. And what happened is I watched a Purge Plays Nature's Prophet video where he got a Dagon. And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And what he did is he bought like a Ring of Basilius and then went into the jungle and farmed out a Dagon as fast as he could, skipping boots. And then teleporting around to somebody who's weak and getting away, teleporting right on top of him, Dagoning him in the face. And then hiding till you can teleport back home. Kind of like a Tinker-esque strategy. And it worked like the first 2 games I tried it. And so then it became a norm in my play. And the first hero that I loved, the first hero that I played...
Such a norm.
Yeah.
That you would forego buying boots every time.
To get it quicker. To get my boomstick quicker.
Yeah.
It was probably the most fun I've ever had in Dota, though. I will say, the games that were good. The games were good when I would have like a Dagon 5, and then I'd have a Daedalus, and
those were mostly normal games where we definitely weren't playing against,
And then we played against anybody who was good, and they would just kill me. And then I realized for the first time Spirit Breaker against Nature's Prophet, because I play him every time. I did like probably 50 games in a row with him. I have 60 games played. Or I'm 39, or I'm 30 and 29 with Nature's Prophet.
Oh wow!
So
I'm surprised.
I'm a little above 50%, barely above 50%. And yeah, once I realized that Spirit Breaker could do the horrible things he can do to a Nature's Prophet, I just like stopped playing.
Oh, when you TP, does he charge? Does he
change
direction?
My whole plan, right? Like getting close to late game, and maybe even mid game is everybody's up top. I'm going to teleport bottom, make a bunch of trees, and push the shit out of this lane and attack a tower maybe. Or take a tower. Well, I'm doing that. Everything's fine. And no missings are called. I mean, at this point when we were playing, nobody's going to be like, oh, Spirit Breaker's charging you. I'm where I shouldn't be, way out of position, because I'm Nature's Prophet and I can teleport wherever I want. And then next thing you know, Spirit Breaker comes running in. You try and do whatever you can, Shadow Blade out or whatever. Of course he's carrying dust. And then just bashes you to death and you die. And I had enough games of that happen because Spirit Breaker's become like the new like flavor of the pub, it seems like.
Yeah.
That and Juggernaut, like everybody.
Not so much Jug anymore.
Because he got the debuff.
I think the nerf probably affected that. But it wasn't, I don't know. And this is me from a new perspective talking, and I realize it's off topic as well, but I don't think it was that big of a nerf.
No, it wasn't. It was a small mana nerf.
Well, and his
scaling mana.
If I remember correctly, his agility acceleration went from like 2.84 to 2.4.
Yeah, it went from 2.85 to 2.4.
Yeah.
That his agility growth per level, which is you got to figure a pretty good amount.
0.45 times 25 is somewhere around 11.
Yeah. So yeah, somewhere around 10 to 11. So it's not. I mean, 10 to 11 agility difference, a Blade of Alacrity. By the time you're level 25, you're not really noticing 10 agility difference. You won't feel too much of a difference. You got to figure that's adding what, like 0.4 of an armor.
Well, and what's the attack speed buff?
I don't know. I don't know the like formula or whatever to figure out a.
Send us some comments, folks, on the Juggernaut nerf.
Exactly.
Your thoughts. What its impact actually was on the hero.
I want to talk about the 1, 2, 3s and that's the Trilane. The new laws for Trilane that I'm going to go ahead and coin. The 1, 2, 3s, okay? You got to designate in that lane who gets all the farm, who gets experience farm, as in is sitting with the person who gets all the gold and experience,
and then setting up the farm,
and the person who is setting up the additional farm. We'll give the example of Anti-Mage, Lion, and Treant Protector. Okay? Lion is your 2. Lion is in lane the entire time, supporting Anti-Mage by mana sapping other people, by throwing out impales, by hexing people. And I am an auxiliary support, a 3, that is off in the jungle, pulling and stacking and doing everything like that. And our 1, of course, being the person who shouldn't be thinking about anything, shouldn't even be looking at the minimap, in my opinion. He should be looking at where his next last hit is going to come from. And primarily that, and denies.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that falls on the 2, that the 3 does not do, unless he sees fit when he's pulling it in.
Sure.
So, like, pulling the creep wave, whatever. The 1, 2, 3s, I feel like, is the only way that we have made a successful tri-lane. Because if you put all 3 in lane, if you do a 1, 2, 2, I guess we'll call it, and that's not like a lane like 1 top, 2 mid, 2 bot. I mean, like, a 1 in the lane and then 2 lions, for instance.
Well,
it's too much experience sap.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not enough. The lions aren't getting fed enough.
Yeah.
And Anti-Mage may be getting, like, semi-normal farm because he's getting those last hit experience.
He's getting good gold farm.
And good gold farm. I don't know this, people. It feels like this may be true. Please, someone correct me. If somebody gets a last hit, do they get more experience? I know they do, but does everybody else around them get more experience too? Allies around them?
No. It's the person who gets the last hit gets a little more.
Because just a little more. Okay, so it's the individual that gets the last hit. It doesn't share with allies. So yeah, he's definitely getting. He's taking more experience because he's getting more last hits, and it worked out beautifully in that game. Where by the time it was time to start roaming, and we went into this, like, when you go into that pseudo where it's like pseudo lane phase, where it's like you're leaving lane but still returning to your lane. You're leaving lane to like help the team, but then still returning to farm. Once it got to that point, that's when you kind of pop out of the jungle as Treant, and then you become more of a 2.
Yeah, well, you're more involved.
2 support, and I'm using like arbitrary.
At the end of the day, what you are is a 5. Like, in the grand scheme of things.
I am the biggest 5 you can get. Like, I end games often without a blink dagger. I end games usually with arcanes, a magic stick, and that's it. And boots. Yeah. Well, arcanes. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We've gotten better at splitting the costs of support together.
It's just my only gold is coming from 1 per tick. You know what I mean? And assist gold and a tower gold if a tower's taken. But I'm not making much. Like, I'm definitely low on the gold totem list. And that's what I love about Treant Protector is he is somebody that is definitely not item dependent. He isn't even so much level dependent. He just needs, I really think he just needs that heal. That heal to be level 4.
What's the difference in your overgrowth from level 1 to level 3?
I don't know. It's just probably longer. And of course Treant, I've seen him played much differently than I play him, and it's really cool where they get a lot of gold and they get the Aghanims and they can see all over the place because he's placing vision in trees, and he hits really hard. He has a really high base damage, so he's really good at, rune protect. But I play a very passive Treant Protector where I don't want them to even know I exist. I just want them, the only way I want them to know that I do exist is by seeing the heal on my carry. Like, that is the only capacity in which I want them to know that I'm there. The Blink Dagger's awesome for the initiation, of course, with Treant Protector, and we've gotten into Treant Protector, but we were talking about other laning combos that would probably work really well, taking up the Treant slot. What else could fill that Treant slot? And I think a Rubik would be really cool there. That's what was talked about earlier, was a Rubik. I think there's probably a few others that would be really cool there. I've seen Abaddon played really passively, and what's better than a support that never dies?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Everybody I know loves to go for this, like, charge, I'm Abaddon, like, you can't kill me. But that's not how Abaddon's supposed to be played. Like, the way I learned how Abaddon worked was from a Purge plays, and he's like, Purge basically says in this video, yeah, I pretty much just stay level 1 for a really long time. This heal's good enough. And he was, like, supporting mid initially. And, like, he was not worried about farmer experience. Abaddon's one of those people that he doesn't need much. He needs, boots, and he needs some sort of mana regen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think Abaddon would be another cool possible person to rotate in.
At the same time, he's an interesting... He still is a pretty interesting carry.
Oh, he is. Well, the only reason we're seeing him as a carry is because what's happening is people that are really good are getting on Abaddon and doing really, really good. Just like you've had games of supports where it's like, I've seen you play Zeus where Zeus is not supposed to be played that way, where it's like you are killing everyone, you are wrecking their team, you are a carry Zeus. Now in Pro, that probably wouldn't ever happen. You would be, you would be throwing down Thunder Gods when people called it. You'd be throwing down your thing for vision, whatever. You'd be a support, mid, you'd be a damage dealer.
Yeah.
Burst I feel like that's what we see with Abaddon when people carry with him. He's not particularly strong. He doesn't have abilities he doesn't have big nukes. He has a nuke that nukes himself. You know what I mean? He's an outlast hero is what he is. He can survive. And he's the dude, the last one standing. And he's constantly providing shields on other people. And he is, in my eyes, like as supportive of a hero as it gets. And his ult just is like, hey, we're going to make him even more supportive in the fact that, like, if people try and target him, he's probably not going to die. So he's going to just stay alive throughout the whole battle. He's providing help throughout the entire battle.
Yeah.
I feel like he's played much differently at our level than we would see at like a 3K level or a 4K level. Abaddon.
It'd be interesting to see you pick up like Omni or Dazzle in that spot too.
Oh, Omni would hurt a little more because Omni really needs like the Soul Ring mana boots. I think Omni would be switched more with the Lion.
Yeah,
but he's not a stun, and you kind of want to stun, and that's why I like that stun.
Yeah, I do too. Really
you want to stun in that Trilane, probably. Yeah. One of the heroes needs to have a good lockdown.
The only hero I really would like to maybe swap out with Lion there, or with Frequency, would be Shadow Shaman. Somebody to have.
Oh, and see, that's another perfect example of a support being like played. And when I say improper, it's not that you're playing badly. It's just that you're playing so good that it wasn't a support anymore. When you got the Boots of Travel and you were basically like a Tinker Shaman, is what you were, going around with a Refresher Orb and Boots of Travel, and he would basically a Tinker. That's all his ult is a Refresher Orb. Putting down, he would warp in and then put down 2 sets of wards and then get right out. And then just get right out. Then just TP right out. Because your Refresher would refresh your TP boots.
No, I've had some good games with Shaman TPing around the map, but I'm thinking more like if you wanted to go more push-centric, but also maintain that hard carry, late game backdoor strategy.
Dazzle I like better because he has the slow to take up the lion slot, or to even be in the 3 slot. If he was out stacking, and oftentimes you'll see like PPD play a Dazzle this way.
I think honestly,
he's good because he's ranged. Stacking is better when ranged. Stacking a camp, sure. I'd much rather stack a camp with a range hero than a melee hero. Sometimes I'll fuck it up because if you click in, your hero does not automatically attack a creep. You have to specifically tell your hero to attack a specific creep.
Right.
Where it's much easier with ranged. It's just,
I would think the Dazzle would be better to pair up if you're going to do that duo support in a tri-lane, like with Witch Doctor, or, somebody you can have high impact later on with one of your abilities plus their ult.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of great synergies. And I mean, I'll be honest, there's another hero in the pool that I know nothing about, really. Winter Wyvern.
We didn't even talk about the new Bloom patch at all.
And I don't really want to go in great length. Everybody's dealing with it. Go kill the beast. Get the beast on your team. Whatever.
I could go on about that beast. I could go on.
Have fun with it. It's awesome. I get your sets. Do all that. Enjoy the event.
Let's take a quick break and then come right back.
It's not a quick break. Let's
go
time
ahead to wrap up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and close.
Oh wow!
Close the door. Anyway, I forget the point. I didn't really have a point. I'm pub trash anyway, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hope you all enjoyed our voicemail.
Yeah.
And if you want to leave a voicemail, well, I think the message says.
Yeah, the message says it all. It was hilarious.
So
laughed out loud.
I guess before we go...
Oh, we have an iTunes review.
We have an iTunes review.
Are you reading it?
Yeah, I'll read it.
But it's...
You're right. You should read it. You love iTunes reviews. I would be a terrible person to take that away from you.
Yeah. This one is short and sweet. Sorry for my clickety clacking. I didn't have it pulled up. I forgot that we got a new review.
Nice pod right there.
Hate that. 26 5 stars, 2 4 stars is where we're sitting. Wow, that's pretty fucking cool. Thank you, everybody. 5 stars, nice pod by Muerdrun.
That's what I said. Nice pod.
Muerdrun?
Sure.
Yeah, nice pod. Good pod.
Yeah.
Good pod.
Good pod.
Nice pod. Nice
good
pod.
pod.
Nice pod. He says, pod. I love this podcast, period. So, fuck, thanks.
We like that review.
I love that review. I love doing the podcast, too. I have a good time. We talked earlier in the episode about it being it's our hobby. Yeah.
It's fun as fuck. It's fun talking with all of you guys. And
it is fun. It's really fun. Close us out, Cyphus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
because I'm not having fun anymore.
No. I didn't even insult you once this episode. Well, maybe I did, but I'm sure it wasn't that bad.
Oh, I'm sure I have insulted you. I'm sorry. What was his name? The guy from Bozeman, Montana?
Swagwagon.
Swagwagon. Yeah, Mr. Swagwagon. I do talk a lot of shit on Cyphus.
Yeah, that's our thing. That's what we do. We do that whenever we're not around the microphone.
Yeah, so. I mean, do you not want me to be myself? Because I do a really good William Shatner. You know what I mean? I could be him.
Not that good.
Not that good. Okay, go ahead and close us out.
All right. Well, if you want to be on the show like Mr. Andrew McIntire, Mr. Soviet Dancin Bear was today, you can go to patreon.com/Defense of the Patients. Donate to the show and leave us a little message for us to read on the air. Come on, do State of the Fairs. There are all sorts of cool prize tiers, and we are in the process of ordering a shitload of shirts.
50.
Figured out how to break that logo apart for them the way they liked it. Thank God.
Gosh.
Of course, you can also find us at defenseofthepatients.com, on Twitter at .p_show, on Facebook by searching Defense of the Patients, on iTunes by searching Defense of the Patients, where you can subscribe and leave a review. And soon, very, very soon, we will have an iPad app, which is what we're testing.
Oh, yeah.
Got all that stuff submitted tonight.
And it'll eventually be iPhone too, right?
I think so. I want to test the iPad app. It was just arbitrary which one I picked. I probably should have gone with the phone first, but went with the iPad. Sized up all of our images and everything for it. It'll be a cool way for you guys to download and follow the show a little bit easier. It'll upload directly to your iPad. So we're going to test that out, and then after that's done, we're going to follow it up with the iPhone and the Android app. So expect those things to come. Is that all I need to plug, Mr. Roland?
You should definitely include Mick Swagwagon. Or
Mr. Swagwagon?
Mr. Swagwagon.
In the closeout?
In the closing, yeah.
All right. So until next time, this is Cyphus for Roland, Soviet Dancin Bear, and Mr. Swagwagon from Bozeman, Montana, saying good luck and Godspeed.